Now I talk about speed scouting and really getting out and finding those great spots on your new land for this fall. And it could even be for hunting public land or private land. But I think a lot of time is wasted by putting boots on the ground and traveling a lot of miles, a lot further than you really should. And let's face it, you know, time is precious. And my overall, I have the time that I can fit in for scouting or for land setup, land prep, but I still don't want to waste my time. I want to be very valuable. Going back to my web classes, I talk about the 80-20 rule. And I talk about that you can complete 20% of the work to experience 80% of the potential success. And that directly applies with scouting. And I want to talk to you about a scouting technique that I've used for many years and what I am using on my new land in Minnesota. And I'm applying that to one of our tried and true stand locations that we have seen the split brow buck, giant bucks through here, trail camera in person. Diane had a really interesting encounter right here last year. Saw a big buck. She saw the split brow buck 2 years ago right here, you know, 160-inch buck going back and forth. She couldn't get a shot at it. And we've just had so much great success in this location. What I want you to focus on this summer is not necessarily where you can get those great summer trail cam photos, but where you can actually hunt and kill a buck this fall. And that's, you're working in reverse. It's not what bucks do we have here, where are they at right now during the summer, who cares where they're at during the summer, you just need to know that they're here. And so on this property right now, what's crazy, I just hung up our first trail camera on our tried and true Coon Valley property we shot 5 mature bucks on last year. And it's because I don't need to necessarily scout this during the summer. And it's not that I'm looking for summer buck movement. When I'm putting my cameras out in summer, and I did this a lot earlier this year in May, I'm putting cameras in locations where I expect to kill bucks. And so it's not on the mineral sites, it's not on the bean fields, the hay fields. I'm going back into areas because of the lay of the land, because of those funnels, because of the trails that are there, because of the historical sign. The historical sign is more important than current sign. And that especially is especially true when you're sticking out a trail camera during the summer or when you're scouting. I'm looking for a historical sign that tells me that for many years bucks have used a certain funnel, a certain location. I'm off the field edges. I'm getting back into areas where I look at it and say, you know, kind of like, you know, what would a mature buck do? Would you look at it in this area that you're putting a trail camera? Can you imagine a mature buck going through here during the fall, during October, during November, during December, because he feels safe, he feels secure, he's not open to a big open pasture, field, ag land. And those are the kind of places that I'm looking to put a camera in right now, because I'm verifying buck movement, not as it relates to the summertime, but because a mature buck goes through this area that I expect him to. And when he does during the summertime and he verifies that everything I'm trying to put together in this location is actually true because he chose to come through here, then I have him in the fall. Because I know he'll come through this area during the daylight. It doesn't matter if he's a core buck and he's sticking around for the majority of the season or the majority of October, November, or if he's a non-core buck and he's here right now, he leaves, he's telling me, you know what, I'll be back during the middle of the rut. I'm not gonna be here during the pre-rut because my core is somewhere else, but I'll be back because I get 1 or 2 pictures of him during the summer. I know I can kill him here this fall. We don't need to verify that here. We've been hunting this land since 2014. I don't even remember the number of bucks I've shot here on this location. It's 10, 11, 12, and this property right here, there's 30 acres of cover. We have a stand location right down here. We have this bench system where I'm talking. It's steep on that side, right past this water hole. And then it goes steep up here, and we have a bench right up here, just about 10 yards from me. I have a stand right up high, stand down low. That gives us different thermal wind options. With this stand up here, we can blow our scent straight up in the morning, or we can blow it over this big hollow over here. Either way, we're safe, whether it's evening blowing that way or morning blowing up. We have a couple options for evening and morning hunting in that location. We can even have the winds coming over the top because they circle back up. So we can hunt with this a lot during the morning. This is an evening stand because it's lower. If we're shooting at bucks up here, they're actually above eye level. We have some cool shots of deer just coming in, drinking water, and drips are coming down, and we're just right down there watching them. We need the evening winds to slide through here from the side and end up in the valley down below. Bottom line though, this is a major constriction. We actually have rock outcroppings up here. We have the bench here, and then steep on both sides. So bucks would come through here normally. So what I'm doing during the summer in a location like this is I'm just hanging a camera. We have a mock scrape. We just roughed up the mock scrape. I'm gonna peen it before I leave, whether that helps or not. But definitely that big dirt patch, I'm gonna make a little bit larger. This vine hanging down right there, it's about waist level once I go down there. The reason we're setting a camera here during the summer is not to try to get a collection of summer pictures. It's to verify buck movement. We already know what bucks made it through on this property last year, and we can't wait to see one. There's one that's a big 9-point that I watched come right down this in the morning, play around here. I was in this stand up here. I could have shot him. I think he needed another year. I would say he was pushing 150 inches last year, in that range. Big, wide, and tall, big tines, and boy, this year he is going to be an absolute stud, and he is one of my target bucks on this property, along with a big wide 8 we saw up here at the top. There's another one that we had narrow, is a 10-point, huge mass. I'm looking for any one of those bucks this year, and but for now we just want to get some pretty pictures, because I know I saw them last year on this property and how they moved. So I know that if I save this, if I'm not burning out my stands and managing my hunt, I'll be back here. Hey, sorry to interrupt this video, but my web class series is finally begun. How to design your whitetail property is on my website, and there's a link in the description. Please check it out. Minnesota, we have lots of new trail cam locations. I believe I have 9 trail cam locations out there right now. All those trail cam locations are in spots where I expect to be able to hang a stand and hunt this fall. Some of the stands are already in, some are not. But what I'm looking for is just to verify movement. And I'll forget some, but we have Lazy, 7-4, Kermit, Negan. We have a couple, oh, Eileen is another one. Eileen's a really cool buck. That one's really blowing up and getting tall. So we have a few named bucks already that are coming through. And what those bucks have told me is that if I'm hunting back off the field edge, I'm in those typical benches and inside corners of the field, you know, where the open field comes together, it creates an X pattern in the woods. I'm hanging cameras in those locations to tell me what bucks feel comfortable using those locations during the summertime. That'll translate into the fall, and those will become outstanding stand locations this fall, because those bucks have told me they're comfortable using them there. And I'm not getting a lot of pictures in those areas, some more than others. I have one where 7-4, I have a picture of one of my cell cameras I stuck in there on a trail camera, and he is right there point blank. And that matches up with movements on 2 cameras adjacent to that. And you can bet I feel like I have him narrowed down, because even if he leaves, he'll be back during the rut, and I'll be able to kill him in one of those stands. And when those stands offer 3 different wind positions for evening and morning hunting and different access routes to get in and out, then man, I can't wait. We're probably showing you a few of those stand locations in Minnesota with some of those pin drops and where we'll be hunting. We'll try to show that to you here. The HuntWise app is blowing up this year as far as the type of maps they have, the topos. They're as good as anybody in the business. And they've added my HuntCast and my algorithm. They've infused that into their HuntCast. And we'll be bringing that to you more in August, September, before hunting season. But man, that app, that's what we're using to show these stand locations. That's what I'm going to use to forecast the hunt. And that's going to be 3 decades of my forecasting built into that algorithm. Can't wait to bring it to you. That's like, you know, I don't talk about a lot of products sometimes, but this is kind of like my product. This is something I've been working on for months with those guys, and they have an incredible team. When the weather tells me to sit in one of these stands that I'm locating these bucks during the summertime, I'm going to be back during the fall. Not getting a lot of pictures this summer, but I'm getting enough to tell me that those bucks feel comfortable in certain locations where I can hang a stand and expect to kill them this fall. Again, if they're core bucks, I might go after them in the end of September, October, up into the pre-rut. If they're non-core bucks, I'm going to hold out on those stands to go in on a frosty, toe-numbing, early November morning, and hopefully he's cruising by during those prime cruising conditions. And that's how I'm speed scouting. That's how I'm looking for new land. Could be the same thing you're doing on public land. You're just verifying those movements that make sense on paper. There are areas that you can get in and hunt. You have good access. You can blow your scent away. You're picking out trees nearby. I'm putting mock scrapes where I can shoot within that distance of that tree stand. It's all set up. Just got to verify it. Those bucks will tell you they're going to be there with very little movement. And I hope this makes sense, because it's a great tactic for scouting new land this summertime in the off season. even as you get into the early fall, great way to non-invasively get in here, check out the buck movement, and just verify that if you're spending your hard-earned time, vacation time to go sit in a stand, you've verified, you've narrowed it down to the great weather day, that you actually have a very high chance of success. I call those 40% sits because you end up shooting a mature buck 40% of the time. It's all about hunting less, hunting smart, picking your time, picking the right locations, and this is one way to help you do so as you head into this fall. And I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. I hope if you like these videos, I have over 500 on the channel right now, that you please subscribe. Check out my web classes. They're doing really well. Getting a lot of great feedback for how to design your whitetail hunt in your parcel this fall. And again, scout, prepare. This is the time, and you're going to have a great amount of success if you follow this recipe for summer scouting this fall.